Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm just having some walking tacos that I just made on the cooking episode of MATC Now, coming this spring. Be sure to stay tuned.
Oh, hey there. I'm student producer Torian Smith, and you are now watching MATC Now.
This week on MATC Now, we're laying down a new foundation as we expand into the art of bricklaying and uncover the secrets to embracing career opportunities. Whether you're craving a fresh path or refining your skills, join us as we uncover the building blocks of success. Stay tuned for all this and more on MATC Now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Lauren Hill, and I'm delighted to have you all joining us today. I'm joined in the studio with a special co-host, Joe Sinicki, bringing his unique perspective from Fox 6 Milwaukee. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to hear, Joe. Could you tell me a bit about what you do?
Sure. So I am the WakeUp executive producer. So everything that's on the air up until about noon, I'm responsible for. I have a great team behind me, but we put on about 8 hours of news every single day, in addition to connected TV stuff on our web app and streaming content. So,
wow. Well, thank you for sharing about your role at Fox 6. We'll catch up in a bit, Joe. But first, I'm eager to dive into another aspect of our campus. Let's check in with our field correspondent, Genesis Lopez, down at the Police Training Center to see what's happening there. Pardon us for technical difficulties. We'll circle back later for further insights. But let's learn more about embracing and navigating career paths as student producer Abigail E. Bean explores the world of our computer simulation and gaming program. And before we dive into that, student producer Mariah Scholes will take us on a heartwarming journey at the Almost Home Cat Shelter, showcasing the beauty of embracing opportunities to make a difference.
Almost Home Cat Rescue gives cats an opportunity to find a forever home.
So this rescue was started in 2021 from a desire to do something different than had been seen in Milwaukee in the past for cat shelters.
At Almost Home, every person working is a volunteer, but they all have one thing in common. They all share love for cats.
I think the one thing that really struck me when I came across the organization was everybody is truly a volunteer. There's not one penny that goes to an individual. We are all volunteers of this organization. We all have families, full-time jobs, part-time jobs outside of this organization, and we just are all doing our best and giving our all because we all have a love of cats in common.
Almost Home also works with other organizations in the community.
We do like the community pantry, so we're starting to partner with another rescue for that. And what that entails is we're going out to the community and holding events where we're giving away free food.
Compared to other cat shelters in Milwaukee, Almost Home gives the cats an open space with lots of opportunity to explore, making it feel more home-like.
I think just overall our, cageless home-like atmosphere. We have furniture here, we have things that you would have at home, such as cat beds, such as rugs, such as just different things that the cats can play with, and they're not sitting in cages, like they're really all around each other.
Once you find a cat you love, the adoption process is really easy.
The adoption process is actually really easy. We have spent a lot of time removing barriers from that process, so they fill out a simple application online, or they can come in here and fill out one on paper, but we love digital, so online is better. And they go through an interview process, some reference checks, and if they've already fallen in love with a kitty when they get approved, they can come in and take the kitty home. Or if they've just had a general approval, they can come in and just hang out with the kitties and wait to find one that chooses them.
Having the ability to help cats find a forever home brings fulfillment to the volunteers.
I think the biggest highlight for me was being able to actually open the doors, to have people come in, looking at all the accomplishments that we've done around here. As Mel said, that we've rescued countless numbers of cats. We've adopted out almost 280 cats, which otherwise wouldn't have had homes. So I think that for us is a great accomplishment.
So I actually really love MATC. I earned my GED from MATC when I was 21 years old, after I had been working construction for several years. I did not learn any programming skills until I started here at Milwaukee Area Technical College. And because of the wonderful education that I received here, I was able to go on and start producing games as a freelancer for a lot of different companies in the area and online.
While Michael was enjoying a successful career, his teachers were rooting for him.
Mike, he was like one of my first students through the program. So it had to have been around 2010-ish, around that time frame. He always has to have the first question, answer the first question. His hand's always raised the first. But the program was quite big in credit load, so I would say at least 3 years. Even then, when they go out after graduation and they start realizing that the things that we are teaching them actually matter and are useful in their day-to-day, getting those students to write back to you or to call you or to let you know that they get it and they finally understand it.
Even while doing other things, Michael always had MATC on the back of his mind.
Just prior to my graduation, I went to the Game Developers Conference in California and was offered many different job opportunities while I was there. But I knew that MATC really needed a new faculty for the CSG program, Computer Simulation Gaming, and I wanted to give back and help other students the way that I had succeeded, because MATC truly changed my life for the better, and I wanted that same opportunity for everyone.
Now that Michael was a teacher in game development, he understood more of the stigma around games.
A lot of common misconceptions about video games in general. They are not necessarily a waste of time. What they are is a window into different worlds so that people can explore, learn, grow, and try out new things in fun and interesting ways. They're a way that people can engage with themselves, with their friends, with their family, and that they can just have a lot of fun with. It's a great distraction from things, but as long as it doesn't become the focus of your life, you can use it as a springboard to be successful in other areas of your life as well. In game development, there are so many different hats that you could potentially wear, so it really depends on what your focus is. Now, there are some people who are jack of all trades that can create entire games all by themselves, but generally you'll be working with a large team of people. So
Michael's passion for game development has impacted even how his students have seen the industry they plan to go into.
I think his teaching style is very hands-off, but it works in a way for us as students to be really able to utilize our own brains and our own creativity, really helping when we need it, but not necessarily when we could solve the problem by ourselves. He's been really helpful, and he's been really forward-thinking and really proactive when it comes to helping me and other students with our projects.
Regardless, Michael's mission has always stayed the same since the beginning.
I want to train the next generation of game developers so that they can bring joy, education, and fun to everyone in the world, so that they can create brand new worlds for people to explore, experience, and have fun with, not only by themselves, but they can make friends, enjoy time with their family, and make the world a better place. I've already had students who've gone on to do exactly that, so I know for a fact that it's going to happen, because it already has.
Wow, that was absolutely heartwarming to see. I love cats.
It is, and it was nice to see more about the computer simulation and gaming program. It's always nice to see how and embrace how technology is evolving.
Speaking of new technology, let's see what field correspondent Genesis Lopez is uncovering at the Law Enforcement Training Center. What do you have for us, Genesis?
Hi guys, we are currently at the Police Training Center at the Oak Creek MATC campus. Here we have Alan, who will help us understand more about this program. So Alan, yes. What is the goal of this program, and what is it all about?
It's basic police recruit training, which is 720 hours as mandated by the state of Wisconsin Law Enforcement Training and Standards. Recruits will have a minimum of 720 hours of training, which is required for them to be a law enforcement officer in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, so could you explain a little bit of the day-to-day training in this program?
The day-to-day training is they train, unlike other programs, they're 5 days a week, 7:55 in the morning until 4:30 at night, every day for about 5 months. Some days we start at noon and go till about 9 when we have to do things in low light at night, but it's a pretty intensive program where they're not just 1 or 2 days a week. It's all every day, 5 days a week.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the shooting range. How is that for students here?
Shooting range is behind us. That is what we use to satisfy the firearms requirement. It's 52 hours of training for the minimum police academy, which is what they're going to get. We can do pistols all the way up to rifles in there. We also do other types of training, which is for police in service and some civilian programs here.
Okay, so from all of this training, how do students benefit from everything that they get from this program?
Once they complete our program, they are certified in the state of Wisconsin to be a law enforcement officer anywhere in the state, the basic minimum requirements we give them. So they're ready to go, get hired by any police agency in the state, and get into what's called a field training program.
That sounds really intense and fairly informational. So what is very rewarding for students going to this program?
The rewarding part of this is they all come in as a team. It simulates them being on the street at their agencies. They come together, they have a class number, they design a flag for their own class and a motto, which they say every day, and they recite every day on the oath of honor. So they all come in as a unified group and leave together as a group also.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit of what's going on behind us. What happens usually
right
around
now,
this hallway?
They're just practicing some active shooter response training, how to move through hallways, how to enter rooms as a team and address one of the highest levels of police response we're going to do, responding to active shooters.
Okay, and is weekly, is this more of a weekly
No, it's
program?
not weekly. This is part of our training. It's one of the segments they have to do. They have 24 hours of what we call tactical response training, and this is part of that training that they have to be required to take.
And what is it required before students come into this program? Like, what is something that they have to look forward to or plan to before coming in?
They have to have a minimum. They can sponsor themselves and pay for our program, or they can be hired by an agency. But they have to have a minimum of 40 credits to enter the program. They have to have a clear background. And a lot of the agencies, they have to have physically fit. There's an entry physical fitness test, which they have to take. So it's more than just, I'm going to apply and get into the program.
Okay. And after they graduate, do they usually become police officers in the Milwaukee area, or do they just
It can be anywhere in the state. The vast majority are right around our area, metro area. And we have about 90, probably close to 99% of our students are hired when they graduate. Within a short time after, they're all hired.
Well, thank you so much for all this information, and we'll see you guys at the studio.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Genesis. The Law Enforcement Regional Training Center is your gateway to exploring new career paths and achieving your goals. If you're interested in a variety of fields, the center offers the resources and support to help you succeed. Now let's go into the world of construction with student Nolwenn Gilarte and Robin Jackson as they showcase the unique program of bricklaying here at MATC. But first, let's take a glimpse into a day in the life of Milwaukee PBS editor and producer Darin Malkowski, whose role is to transform, engage, and inspire viewers through his work.
Creating a show takes a team of people. Darin Malkowski helps craft those stories through his editing.
I started working at Milwaukee PBS about 12 years ago. I was a student here, so as a student at MATC, I always thought it would be a great place to work. I love PBS, I love the atmosphere, and the production of everything that Milwaukee PBS does. My job is editor. I edit segments, television shows, specials, documentaries for the station.
During his time at Milwaukee PBS, Darin has worked on award-winning programs like America's Dairyland at the Crossroads, Kids in Crisis, A Hope for Tomorrow, as well as the digital series Rhythm Cafe MKE, which highlights local Milwaukee musicians.
You know, you're creating a piece of art when you're creating any kind of story for television. There's an art to it, there's tempo, there is creative freedom in editing a piece. In essence, I always approach it almost as telling a small little movie when you're putting it together. Everything has to be timed, there's a rhythm, there's a tempo. There's a purpose behind every single edit that I make to help create that story. So when you shoot, I always shoot to edit, you produce to edit. So I approach it almost in the field like a post-production mindset. How is each individual soundbite? How is every shot? How is every setup going to work in a timeline? Any advice I would give to someone who wants to get into editing is know the story you want to tell before you go out and capture the video for it and audio for it. Have an idea. Like I said, think of how you're going to edit it before you shoot it or while you're shooting it. Is that shot going to work in my next edit? What's my next edit? What's my cover? Where am I going to go to? How am I establishing? The way you think a story could be produced, you capture your story, you shoot everything you think it's going to happen. When you sit down to edit, you may find a whole new story by what someone says and how they reacted and what other people say. So your story, your film, your video, your project comes together in the editing suite.
A MATC program designed to prepare students to enter the masonry trade. This program teaches the fundamentals of laying, block, and brick.
So in Bricklaying, MATC provides all the tools that we need in class. Being bricklayers, we are also very fortunate. We have to probably spend the least amount of money getting the tools we need to start our career. Electricians, plumbers, carpenters, they need a lot of tools. Bricklayers, we don't need that many tools. We don't use many power tools. We need a trowel, a level, a couple simple tools to strike our mortar joints, and a toolbox. We can get away with some, very inexpensive bills for tools compared to a lot of the other trades.
Students dedicate and invest a lot of time and effort in this program. But at the end, what can they take away from this?
So one of the things I really push in bricklaying is I try to treat it as much like a job as possible. We take a 9 o'clock break here, much like you would, and a noon break for lunch, much like you would on a construction site. I try to keep as much in the shop and hands-on, but I try to really prepare them for the field. Attendance is critical. You have to be at class. We start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that might sound very early, but if you don't start until 7 o'clock when you're working in construction, that's late. You have to work later then. So again, getting used to the 7 o'clock can't take you very long. We have to be here early. We have to be here on time. So I think that's one of the big things that students not only learn from bricklaying, but they learn they have to show up. If they don't show up, they will simply find somebody else that will. So I think definitely bricklaying and all of construction, you have to show up, and you have to show up on time, ready to work. It is one of the most rewarding trades out there. You literally, everything that you build, you can see it. You can drive past it. I can drive anywhere in southeastern Wisconsin and see projects that I have worked on, and I tell my students, you will be able to do that. You'll drive all over and you'll forget jobs that you've worked on. But it's a real sense of pride, and it's very rewarding being a bricklayer.
Bricklaying sounds like a truly rewarding career, where every brick laid is a step towards your vision. Joe, can you provide a brief overview of your experience in television production program and your journey to becoming an executive producer?
Sure thing. So I always tell people that my journey to being an executive producer is not a common one. I started in print journalism, went and worked a couple magazine jobs, a couple newspaper jobs, and then got burnt out from journalism and just the daily reporting. So then I took a break, came back, and I came to MATC with the intent of being a photog, and then fell in love with producing and writing and how it worked with the program and how it worked with combining what I had to what I could do in TV. So while I was here, I did everything I could, tried everything I could, and I got a job at Fox 6 while I was here and worked up the ranks.
That's incredible. So what does a day in a life as an executive producer tend to look like?
Sure, so it really depends on each day. My day typically starts between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. I work the wake-up shift, so like I said, anywhere between 4:30 a.m. and noon is what considered wake-up, or we have a couple later shows, but I work with the producers, pick out our stories, try to find out what our big stories are, make sure our crews are in the right place. And from there, it's a lot of approving scripts, finding the right video, sourcing information. That's the really fun part. I mean, yes, putting something on TV, but building those blocks to get everything ready is there.
Awesome. So with MATC and teamwork at Fox, how does that all kind of relate? How does your time at MATC kind of correlate to what you now do at Fox?
Sure. I wouldn't be able to do what I do now without MATC. Like I said, I came from a different perspective, but MATC was able to bring those skills that I had and the skills that I was learning together to form who I am now. Every program from this program, I was a student producer to an executive producer, live at the lakefront, letters to Santa. Everything was like a building block to get to where I was. And it's very rewarding once you see those productions on air, and then once you see them through to the end.
We do a lot of production here, that is for sure. Yeah. So what kind of skill sets do you think would be beneficial for students that are trying to get into the broadcast world or the TV production world?
The one thing I always tell people is you'd be surprised how many people who go into communications don't have great communication skills. That's the biggest thing, is making sure that you're able to communicate with a team, because, yes, I'm the executive producer, but we do have, I have 5 anchors, I have 8 producers, I have 6 directors. I have a whole team that we have to communicate with throughout the day as to what changes, what's not changing. If we have breaking news, we have to go to there. Multitasking and delegating is a big thing too. So, but the biggest thing also is just making sure you're able to tell a story, because even if you're on audio or you're doing anything, you're still telling a story and you're part of that story.
Absolutely. And so looking back, what is kind of one lesson you wish you knew that you can give our students here?
One lesson is I would have learned earlier to try absolutely everything you can. The staff here is very great. They are very knowledgeable, and if you listen to them and take their advice, they will help you get to where you want to be. You just got to put in the work for it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us and expanding more on your work at Fox 6.
No problem.
Well, I think now is the perfect time to spring into action with the one and only Chef Rex. Rex, what do you have cooking for us?
Hey, thanks. Spring is here, everyone, and for today's recipe, I'll be preparing fresh spring rolls for you all. A spring roll is a side or appetizer dish consisting of rice papers, vegetables, rice noodles, and protein or shellfish, all of your choice, where you can either fry them or eat them fresh like I will today. Now for our ingredients, I've got rice papers, rice noodles, sliced carrots, mint leaves, cabbage, red cabbage, and cooked and shredded chicken. You also want to make sure you have a bowl or plate of water for dipping the rice papers in, a plate for the vegetables, a cutting board, and a knife, obviously, to cut the vegetables. One thing about spring rolls is that they're extremely customizable. You can put whatever you want. You don't even have to stick it with anything that I have here. I like putting shrimp in mine. Shrimp is good. And they're usually served in large batches for group enjoyment. I don't know about you, but if I roll up to a party and there's spring rolls there, it's gonna be a good time. Now, I'm gonna begin cutting a bit of this cabbage, this red cabbage, just because I wanna have it a little extra. I don't know why it's called a head of cabbage, by the way. It's clearly smaller than my head. So we want to slice these in a way that they fit inside the rice paper. There you go. We'll set that aside, and these are a bit too big, so I'll cut these guys in half. Just throw these onto the plate here. Now, if you have any cabbage jokes for the crew and me, let us know. Now clear this because I'm actually going to be rolling on this. The rest of the ingredients I've already got prepared. I've got a bunch of sliced carrots, got some cilantro, got some mint. Now with the mint leaves, you want to make sure you get them off the stem. We don't want any stems in our fresh spring rolls. We don't want them to be too fresh. And actually mint leaves are very good for your breath. So that'll help us out. I'm actually gonna take these and put them on this plate right here. Get them ready. Get our mint, cabbage, and cabbage of the green variety. Next thing we want to do is take our rice paper. This is actually kind of broken. You want to make sure that your rice paper is in great condition. You want to set this one below and take this nice, perfectly round rice paper. Just dip it in. Make sure you get some full coverage of the rice paper on one side and the other, because if you don't let that drink up, you'll have a nice or very unnice, crunchy rice paper shell. That should be good. And I'm gonna make sure to avoid the other rice papers and just lay it flat on the ground. Let that buddy sit. You want that to soften up. And try not to have it fold up upon itself because it'll be extremely hard to manage. Now, while we're waiting for that to soften, we can start putting our ingredients on it. I've got our shredded chicken. And put it right here. You don't want to overload your spring rolls because then it'll be extremely hard to roll and actually start ripping as well, or your ingredients will start falling out. That's enough chicken right there. Put some cabbage. A little bit of green cilantro. A couple mint leaves. And top it off, carrots. Should put some more carrots in there. Isn't that colorful? Isn't that very spring-like? Now our rice paper is actually getting nice and soft here, so what you want to do is roll it forward. And at the halfway point, you want to tuck the sides in and continue rolling, kind of like a burrito. And as you can see, I ripped it because there's way too much. So keep that as a reminder, a tale of caution. I'm actually going to start another one. So again, dip your rice paper in. Let that buddy soak up. Let that get nice and soft. I'm gonna put that in, that chicken. Some cabbage, nice and long. Carrots and green cabbage. Mint and cilantro. Now everything's nice and soft. Once again, we're gonna roll it firm yet gentle. Don't want it to rip on me again. It's kind of crunchy right there. I didn't let it sit long enough. But you know what? What's wrong with a little crunch in your life? Here's a broken spring roll, and here's a nice crunchy spring roll. Like I said, these are very customizable. You can have it however you want. I've also got some sauce to dip this in. I have some delicious peanut sauce with me today. You can have soy sauce or sweet and sour sauce. But yeah, this is ready to go. Thank you for tuning in to today's cooking. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Chef Rex. Those spring rolls look mighty springy with the season finally here. I'm eager to give that recipe a try at home, but I can't guarantee it'll look as tasty as that, although I'm certainly up for the task of to try my skills.
Yes, and speaking of skills, let's explore the exciting discoveries made by student producer Hannah Stewart at Alverno's Theater Arts program.
Tom Reed is the chair of Creative and Performing Arts at Alverno College. He runs the Creative Arts and Practice major, which gives students hands-on experience.
Here you can hit the ground running, and if you come in your freshman year and you want to be a part of the film, we'll train you and get you up and running. When I graduated from school, I had no idea how to go out in the world and really make a living doing it. And you can make a living doing it. You can make a living in the arts. And the major is different, and we try to teach you how you can actually make a living once you graduate.
As a freshman, you don't have to wait to get started. You are given many opportunities right when you begin the program.
Hopefully, as a freshman, you would take part in the film, take part in our theatrical productions. We also do a series of staged readings. As a freshman, I would hope you would participate in as much as possible, because I think the more you do, as far as hands-on, the better you get. It's my favorite part about teaching, honestly. It's watching students grow and succeed, especially when they come back a few years or many years later and you hear about their successes. For alums, it's they love coming back, and we had a lot of alums come back to watch the short film that we made in 2018, and it was rewarding for them to see how the program has grown, how it's not just theater now, how it's also film and theater.
Over the years, the Theater Arts program has evolved, but the main goal is still the same: doing what you love and making a career out of it.
If I can make good art that the people that are involved in it enjoy, and that the people that are also seeing it enjoy, then 2 thumbs up.
It's truly exciting to get a peek into other colleges in the area. It shows excellence in education that can be found right here in our backyards. Now let's join Lauren for the MATC Minute.
Attention graduating students ready to get your diploma. Make sure to apply for commencement by Sunday, March 31st to secure your spot and have your name listed in the commencement book. Let the college know you're ready to shine. Don't wait. Apply now and make your graduation dreams come true. Feeling hungry on campus? No problem. Swing by the MATC Cafe for a delicious meal to keep you energized and satisfied throughout the day. It's the perfect place to refuel between classes. Oh, and while you're there, why not enhance your language skills? Join your Spanish-speaking colleagues for a casual gathering on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at noon in the Milwaukee downtown campus cafeteria. It's a fantastic opportunity to practice Spanish. It's time to exercise your right to vote. Head over to the downtown Milwaukee campus from March 25th to 28th between noon and 6 p.m. to cast your ballot. Don't miss out on an exciting exhibit at the Create Gallery featuring the works of MATC graduate Jarob Ortiz. This showcase is open for viewing Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. until April 13th. Visit room M175 at the downtown Milwaukee campus to explore Ortiz's impressive creations.
Thanks, Lauren, for all that valuable information. I think now's a good time to go hang out with student producer JC Griffith at Pilot Project Brewing Milwaukee for this week's Gem KE.
Hi, I'm student producer JC Griffith, and this is another hidden Gem KE. I'm here at Pilot Project, a brewing incubator that offers refreshing drinks, delicious bites, brewery tours, and a place to kick back after work. Let's go check it out.
Located in the Brewery District, Pilot Project Brewery and Taproom is just a quick stroll away from MATC, Marquette University, and the Deer District, making it a super convenient stop.
One of the key features of Pilot Project is their brewery, which you can tour before trying their draft.
During the tour, you'll learn about the origin story of Pilot Project, the brewing process, and of course, taste the beers and hard kombuchas. Pilot Project is meant to serve as a launch pad for startup breweries by offering assistance with production, adjusting recipes, and even marketing and distribution, including in-house drafts in the tasting room.
Since beer's brewed in-house, there's always a new drink to try. I'm having an IPA.
Pilot Project even brews a wide variety of non-alcoholic brews for those wanting to stay sober. Since opening, Pilot Project has partnered with more than 10 different breweries, and from the tasting room to a beer garden and rooftop, there are multiple places to enjoy a new brew.
So come on down to Pilot Project and enjoy all it has to offer for yourself. I'm student producer JC Griffith, and this has been another Hidden Gem KE.
Wow, that place looks like a lot of fun. It's like they've crafted the perfect blend of hops and harmony. And before we close the show, I just want to thank our co-host Joe for being with us here today and for sharing valuable insight about embracing career opportunities.
No problem, my pleasure.
And thanks to you for tuning in on another episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Lauren Hill. We'll see you next time.